In this video, I want to show you how to make one of these bow bread knives, and this turned out pretty cool, so check it out. I have this template, and this is going to allow me to quickly make this bread bow knife. I had it on hand, so I was able to go ahead and go to my scrap pile, use this to kind of see if it was the right size. You don't need a very big piece of scrap wood to make one of these, and it's clear, so you can lay it out on your wood and kind of see how to avoid knots and that kind of stuff. This is clear acrylic. I actually sell these on my website and on my Etsy page, so I'll link to that below. But I'm going to just put this on here, trace it so that I can get rid of the bulk of the material on the bandsaw, and then we can go about using the router and refine the shape using the template. I ended up deciding to use that curly piece of ash that I had there, and it was thick enough I was able to resaw it on the table saw like you saw, and split it into two, and I can make two at the same time. I figure I might as well. So now I'm going to take my template and try to miss any of the voids in these boards. That's why I like that they're clear. You can kind of line them up however you want. And then I'll trace them with a Sharpie and take them to the bandsaw and eliminate a lot of that waste. Well, there you have it. You don't have to have a big bandsaw with a really dull blade like I do. You can use a jigsaw, just your average blade, and cut it out just as nicely. If you notice, I left a little bit here. I don't want to get too close so that I have a little bit of wiggle room when I put that template on here and secure it. And then we'll use the router to get the rest of it off.
For this first method of securing the router template, I'm just using some old double-sided tape that I have. You'll see in a few minutes why this became a problem for me later. All you need are some templating bits. These are just some cheap ones that I have, but they work really well. In this hardwood, this ash is really dense, so I'm going to be taking really small bites, meaning I'm not going to advance the bit into the wood very much at a time. I'm just going to take it multiple passes, do small little advances with the router bit until I get all the way through. The idea with these types of bits is that the bearing rides along your router template. So that is closest to the spinning part of the router. There's always a debate in my mind about whether this is a top bearing or a bottom bearing. Anyway, set that to where the bearing is riding on your template, and then the rest of the bit will flush trim to match that. I feel comfortable with how little material I'm taking off that I can just hold this with my other hand out of the way and it is secure enough. If you don't feel comfortable with this, obviously put it in a clamp or a vise or something. The whole idea is I'm barely taking off any material, so it's not really like grabbing and wanting to throw it out of my hand. After you do the first pass, you can either step up to a slightly larger bit, or you can just advance the same bit downward that you were using. The cool thing is now, if you have moved beyond where your template is, you have already routed something flush with your template. So you can actually then take the bearing of your bit, reference it on the pass you just made, which should be flush with your router template, and just keep going. For the last little line of material I have left there, I'm just going to switch to this flush trim bit where the bearing is on the opposite end. It's on the far end of the router bit. And I will flip the piece upside down and reference my template again with this thing, just trimming it all up and kind of cleaning up any lines from the different layers that I did. Be a little careful if you are using these acrylic templates. This one is really thin, so as you're prying it off of the double-sided tape, don't pull on it too hard. You could just snap it.
Something to be aware of if you use a double stick tape. I think mine's pretty old, so it left some residue on my template here. Don't freak out. You can usually get that off. I would try probably denatured alcohol first. Don't try acetone. That'll probably fog it up. It might even eat away a little bit at it. But I'm going to work on this and get that off. Another method you can use is the blue tape and CA glue method. So I'll show you that next in case you're not familiar. Just wanted to let you know that sometimes you can get some residue from some of those double stick tapes. I've had that one a long time, so it's probably old. Yeah, that worked. I used a little bit of denatured alcohol with a rag and it got the sticky residue off of here mostly. Enough that I'm not worried about it. But anyway, just be aware of that. Okay, here's the blue tape method. If you've never seen this, you're just going to apply some painter's tape to both sides of your template. Just stick it right to your wood piece and to your template. I'll do most of it, then I don't have to guess where it is. Just make sure that it's really flat. You want that to be able to get good adhesion. If you go over the edge a little bit, it's okay, we can trim it back. Okay, and you want to put it on your template. Obviously it's mirrored, it's going to go like this, so flip it over, get any schmutz off of it. That's it off. Okay, so that's all stuck. Oop, stuck to me. You can get some CA glue and stay toward the center of your tape. Don't use too much. Doesn't take a whole lot. You don't want it to squish out onto your template. Then what I do is use some accelerator on the other piece and stick it down. Just press and hold it for a few. And that should be it. Then when you're done, you can just peel the tape off and shouldn't have all that residue because the sticky side of the tape is meant to come off. See? And we can do it again. I'm just going to trim this tape off so it's not in the way of the router. The template that I cut has a hole that obviously then you can hang up your template and reuse it or whatever. On the actual, you can use that to mark your board or whatever. I'd probably just drill that out with a Forstner bit or like a good sharp brad point bit. And that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to probably do a little bit bigger of a hole because the folks I give this to, I'm probably going to cut a little strip of leather and put in there so they can hang it up on the wall or something if they wanted to. So you can pick whatever you want, whatever drill bit size you want, and just put it in there. It's not that big a deal.
I spent a little time at the oscillating belt sander just getting rid of some of the router lines, and then I put a quick round over on all of the edges. I found these knife blade blanks on Amazon, and I'll put a link to that and all the other stuff that I use below in the description. This one was going to my sister, so I tried to hurry and laser engrave her name in it so I could give it to her when we traveled for Christmas. But I didn't get footage of it because I was rushing the whole time. But I'll show you another one that I did and how that turned out also. For something like this, I like to just use spray lacquer. You can lay down quite a few coats very quickly, and I just sanded in between with 400 grit lightly and then put a few coats on. I had this idea of how to protect us as we traveled with this very sharp knife, and the idea was using duct tape. So I talked a little more about this on my podcast, We Built a Thing. Definitely go check that out if you are not listening already. But the idea is to lay down some duct tape facing each other so the sticky sides face each other, and it creates this really nice, thick, basically sheath. Then I would just fold it in half, kind of make a crease, and then I just use some painter's tape on the backside to kind of hold it on there so that it would be easy to remove. And it worked really well. Nobody got hurt as we traveled, and that was the goal. Here's where I did the laser engraving on the handle for the one for my friend, and it wasn't quite dark enough, and the beauty of a laser is if you notice that before you move the piece, you just run it again, and it darkened it right up, and it looked great. Just a warning, if you buy these blades, they are super sharp. Just when I was doing the intro and kind of holding the knife and flipping it around, I poked myself in a couple places and cut my finger. So be careful as you're doing this. I got my wife to help me, and here we're working on the other one after we got back from our trip so that I can give it to my friends. These have the tiniest little screws to secure the blade, and I was sure to grab the right drill bit to pre-drill these. This curly ash is really hard, and I've broken this type of screw often here before, so you want to make sure not to do that. And then you just install it either right-handed or left-handed. I'm doing this one right-handed, and that way they can cut it very easily with their dominant hand. I didn't know if they wanted to hang this up somewhere, and I think leather is a nice touch for these types of tools. So I cut a simple strip out of some leather and just tied a basic knot on there, and it made it look great. And I love walking around the shop and finding these little notes and things that my kids doodle in the sawdust. This was a smiley face from my youngest.
Well, thanks so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you will feel like you could make one of these on your own. I have templates for these that I sell out of acrylic on my website and on Etsy, so I'll link to those below. But anyway, I'm going to give this to my friend, and I know she'll get good use out of it. So thanks for watching. See you on the next video.